So hi, one of the Good Noise podcast here with Landon from Sigil. We're gonna ask him some questions today. I'm gonna start. So what inspired you to start the project, and what does the band name mean?
So I joined the project, not last of the members now, but the last piece of the puzzle. You know, they had already done like 5 or 6 demos with a group of musicians, and members had fallen out in between then. And then the drummer, who is in the band still, Farhan, he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to kind of test the waters. I hadn't made music with a band in like 3 years. I kind of had, you know, it's like PTSD. So really, like when you're in a band and you get wronged once, you're like, oh man, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, you know, because we're all glutton for punishment. So I was very hesitant, and it took me like probably 3-4 months of like just not wanting to do it. Him being like, yo, come on, let's like do this. So I went and I met with who is our bassist now, Keen. Keen and I had been in every single band I've ever been in. Keen's been my like creative partner. So I went straight to him and was like, yo, I gotta write a demo. We gotta do this. And that one writing session, we spent like 2 hours and we wrote Death Proof, which was our first single. And I went to the band. We had like a little meeting, tryout kind of thing, I guess you might call it a tryout. But they said that they liked it. It worked out. After that, I just kind of like put my, foot to the pavement and kept writing with them. It really just kind of fallen into place since then. We had, members falling out, a couple members lost. But right now we have Jorge, who's my guitarist. He's been in the project since I joined. Farhan, he's the drummer. He's been in the project since I joined. And then Keen, I brought into the situation as soon as a member space freed up. I was like, oh my gosh, choking on coffee. Oh my god, see me vomit all over the mic.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we would have to cancel.
Yeah.
Maybe the end of, that wouldn't be the first time.
What?
Yeah, on stage, you're telling me you've never been to a rock show and seen the singer throw up?
I've been to a lot of
2
concerts,
shows.
and I haven't seen a single person throw up on stage.
I come to a Sigil concert. Come on.
Oh my god, is it guaranteed though?
No, not good.
Well,
the very last show we played before quarantine was Lost Rages with like Rob Zombie and Bring Me the Horizon. It was like the biggest show Sigil's played to date.
Holy shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And we got added 2 days before the festival because Frank Carter had something. I believe he got in a car accident or something happened with his band, and he's a UK artist, and something happened. He wasn't able to make it into the country to do the route or whatever. So we had been in line to play for the year, like, basically like, oh, it's gonna happen. We're gonna have a place for you, and then nothing panned out. And then literally 2 days before the show, we did. So I was a little out of shape, not gonna lie, a little out of shape. And I, downtown Fremont Street, had a whiskey or two, had my vegan White Castle, which I'm not proud of. And that does not make for a good post-show feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't on stage.
No, I immediately got off stage and then was recorded by our roadie, who then put that on the internet. So that's out there.
Oh, it's out there.
Yeah, there's definitely video of me after the Bring Me the Horizon show, just blowing chunks on stage. Poppy was right there, so I know for a fact she saw that I threw up all over, and I just looked at her, and she's like, doesn't even look like a real human when you see her in person.
Yeah, no, she's freaky as hell.
No, she looks like a doll. You know,
exactly.
She really looks human. And her and her whole band, they're standing there. The band has masks on of Poppy's face. So I'm like,
that's so cool.
It was amazing. They were amazing. But it really got me, and I was just okay, man, so proud of you. Go right back. But the show was amazing. It was hands down the best show that Sigil's played today.
Oh my god.
And the biggest.
Together. And the biggest, man. Overwhelming. Yeah, like how you reacted, that's how I reacted. Like, wait, Bring Me the Horizon?
Yeah, like you shared a stage with Ollie Sykes. Holy fucking shit.
That's crazy.
There were two stages. The stage that we played on was like us, Poppy, I believe Dance Gavin Dance,
What?
like a bunch of bands like that. And then
just Dance Gavin Dance.
Just Poppy,
just the greatest bands of all time in our genre, yeah. But that was awesome.
And
So
that was
awesome!
just
So awesome! You knocked your mic over.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so
It's broken off the stand. We're not very good at keeping things nice around here, so
it's okay. So wait, so you got a heads up that you were playing that show 2 days before?
I want to say like 2 to 4 days before. One of our members was in Texas on vacation, so we literally like contacted our producer, got the guitar stems, route, like literally changed our whole set the way we do things.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2 to 4 days. I think I just moved to Los Angeles not 2 weeks before that show, and I was like, well, I'm coming home. I'm coming back. It's time to play.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, great. And then of course that's the last show we play until then. It was a great way to end the touring cap,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a pretty way to go. Except for the barfing in front of Poppy, but at least she won't forget you.
I hope not.
Maybe she'll bring you on tour.
You know
exactly. What? That'd be cool.
I guess it's better to be remembered than anything else, I guess.
Yeah.
I like the way you think. I've been very embarrassed of that situation.
No.
So I'm very glad that now, maybe she'll respect it.
Exactly.
Poppy's booking agent will reach out to you the next time she goes on tour.
Yeah, let's put
I want that band that vomited after their show.
Yes, he's a rock star. He threw up, smiled, kept it moving.
Exactly.
All right, well, back to the questions.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Oh no, it's
band
good.
name, right?
Yeah, band name.
Yeah, Sigil. So like I said, I joined the last piece of the puzzle. The band and ideas really had already been put into place by the founding members. It was their intention to essentially the pitch I got for the band was this idea or presence of something that exists through time, and it's something that people can identify before they even hear it. And so I'm like really big in branding and like graphic design, doing all those things. So I've always wanted to, that's always the goal, is to put something out there that people can identify. And that's what it kind of like intrigued me. I was like, all right, cool. Let's make a logo for this. Let's do this. I wanted to feel like this is as big as it can be, And I told them from the jump, I didn't want to be in a band again to just dilly dally, as they say, I didn't want to just do it just to do it. I wanted to like do it to the largest of my abilities. The members that were in the band were in bands like Winds of Plague, and it was like just all these things set up in order for us to succeed. And so I just was like, yes, let's do this as hard as we can. Sigil, it's something that people, it's this like omnipresent idea. Sigils have existed in culture like since the test of time. We've been drawing little symbols to identify something since the cross, since the everything in it's for whatever reason does have like a very dark context, I guess, like, and we definitely haven't done our fair share to deviate from that. It's something that we enjoy, especially with our genre, and I really think that like the dark imagery, things like that, it's an easy story to tell, as well as it's true to our brand, it's like, it's really dark. It's and our music has kind of followed that, where I feel like a lot of the times you make music and you make it to make it, we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to be, the vibe that we wanted to set, and I molded my vocals around it, the idea of what we wrote about around those things, just kind of put this ominous idea, and something that never really wanted to be explained. I guess that was like the initial members' ideas, was like they really wanted to be like ominous and not explain what any of it meant, and just be like really visually directed. So that's through our first like 3 music videos. You'll see we tried really hard to just like tell a story visually without actually explaining the context of our sigils, the band Sigil, the witches, any of the things that we put into our universe. And it was kind of so the fans could make their own thing, and like it feels good to be like, oh, it's like the Marvel thing, we all watch it and we're like wondering what's going to go on, and we can make a million ideas of what it is, but we're willing to come back to be surprised or to be like, I knew it. I knew it. That's what that meant.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the initial idea was for Sigil. Now we're just we're really pushing this like rock and roll. We love it. We love that it's identifiable. I love that some people don't know how to say the name. That was I was furious when we played that show with the Poppy and everybody. Right before we played, they had that wasn't that show. It was iMatter Festival in New York. It was the show we played right before that. It was our other last show. And the guy, had this whole DJ come out and do this whole spiel about who we were as a band. And he was like hyping us up. And then he said the name wrong. And I was like, you motherfucker, like it's Sigil. And I like spelled it. I was like Sigil. Look that shit up. Don't ever forget it, And it was like, that's good. Because it forces me to have that conversation. It forced me to be a little loud, kind of set the tone for the show. I was like, then we just kept it moving.
Yeah. How did he say it, if you can remember?
It's Sigil.
Sigil.
Okay, at least that wasn't that close.
Yeah.
I fucked it up before this call started. Gloria was like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
What are you saying? That's not how you say it.
I was like, okay, listen. So then I went to Google Translate, and that fucked it up too. And Gloria was like,
and I was like,
Sigil.
that's not, no, I said it's Sigil.
I said...
I thought Siri would have my back. There's once or twice that I, for the first, like when we debuted the band in the band, I made sure to go to like the dictionary.com, pull up the technical like definition of Sigil, and then the pronunciation, like how to pronounce it. That was the first like hard post on the band page, was like, we are Sigil, like spell it right, sound it right. And it's cool. People still, like my mom messes it up, even though she knows, but she still will do it too. And my grandparents, everybody does it. So I like that. It's kind of easier than being like something that immediately,
I prefer those band names though.
Honestly,
I prefer the ones that I read it. I'm like, I know how to say that.
Bring me the horizon.
Exactly.
Oh,
fair enough. All right.
Like when we interview Ollie, I'll be able to just say their band name without. I'll be freaking out about the fact that he's coming on the podcast, not that I'm going to fuck up his band name.
Yeah, exactly.
I was freaking out. I'm going to fuck up your band name.
Mumbling over every other word. See?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
solid. So, congrats on your newest release, Wormtongue. How do you felt the response to it so far?
Honestly, Wormtongue's been really cool because it's been really natural. It's one of our heavier songs, I would say too. It's definitely like not the traditional ominous, like dark down tempo music that I feel like we've released in the past. Where this has a lot of energy. You kind of get it from the jump. A lot of the people from the scene that we came from, like in Las Vegas, the post-hardcore scene was like phenomenal. The metalcore scene, like from the mid 2000s to like 2013, like we had great shows all the time, best venues, bands coming in and out that were just like rising up and becoming like these bigger bands. And it just like the scene was great. And then nobody did anything for a while. My last band, Imperial Tide, we were like in that scene. We played with Sworn In, we played with like Being as an Ocean, like those type of bands, And I felt that when that band left, that there was like this void in the scene. Like I didn't feel like there was a community. Like we only have 2 venues now that are really open to all ages events. Even the one that was in Hard Rock Casino is no longer existent. What was it called? The Vinyl. The Vinyl was our like big venue that's where we played with Devil Wears Prada. That's where we played with the Mice and Men. Where we played with the Acacia Strain.
Jesus.
And we play, and that's what Sigil. And let me, what I'm saying. We've been putting in work for like 3 years, playing any big show that came through.
Yeah.
We pitched ourselves to, and we're like, we want it, and no other band was competing with us. And that was kind of like, there was a couple that were like around doing the same thing, and we might share the like local slot with them or something. But for the most part, we just were good at selling tickets, like bands have to be when you're starting, and we got really good at just pitching ourselves to these shows. They knew that we were going to sell the tickets that they asked us. They knew that when we showed up, we wouldn't be problematic. So we got on, like pretty much every show for a while. It was like the Attila show, the Rage Fest show, when they had the riot. Did you guys ever hear about that? There was like a riot at the Attila show, and like the security guards started fighting Attila.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
though.
he played that show, and I was like, yo, we're in. We got riots popping off at our shows. Like they're telling us we might not be able to play here again. Like we're doing it right.
That's the dream. That's the dream. That's how you know you've made it, when you start getting banned from venues.
Exactly. Yeah. Wait, so I feel like I have to ask, because you're naming like the big bands that bands that
I get told to fuck off when I submit interview requests. So like,
wait, dude, I never understand it, because guess what they're doing right now?
Sitting at home, absolutely jack shit.
Exactly. Like
they're all like music. They're all doing nothing. They're just all like,
we're doing limited press. Yeah, but Rock Sound can only interview you so many fucking times.
Exactly. I just wanted to ask, what have been like your favorite shows from like the big people? Have you been like mistreated at any of them because you're a smaller band, or have you been treated like very well there?
That's a great question. I would say with Sigil, it's been nothing but respect, and because we've been the members that have been in the band this whole time, the previous bassist Shane and Chase, who was our old guitarist, like both of them were very professional, very well spoken, very intertwined in the scene, as much as like being personable in the space. That's one thing that I always take pride in, is like not being the timid one who's like scared to say hello to the guy, or I'll make friends with the merch dude or whoever, it's like realizing that the singer isn't the dude who you want to go talk to. Like, I want to go talk to the dudes who are like loading in the gear and doing all the back end stuff, because that's like the heart and soul of our industry, is like the roadies, the bands just get to take all of the credit. And that, like, between Shane, Chase, myself, Ferran, who's still in the band, Ferran is like, you can't get the guy to shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like so personable. He'll be your best friend all night. Make sure you're taken care of. Oh, you want some whiskey? We got you. And that's, I don't know if that's like the Las Vegas in us, like being like concierge. We're here to have a good time, like whatever. We're supplying the vibes, So we've had nothing but good love. My favorite show, though, hands down, outside of the festival shows, would probably be Devil Wears Prada.
It should be.
It was Roots Above 10-year anniversary, I think, was that show. And I mean, that's my life. Prada is like, I feel if it wasn't for Devil Wears Prada, A Day to Remember, Oceana, like those bands are like why I made music. Sky's Airplanes, like those were the first bands I ever saw, and I was like, oh, I love this genre. And same with actually Ferran, who's in my band. He was in a band called Eyes Like Diamonds. I don't know if you guys would know who Eyes Like Diamonds is. They were signed to Tragic Hero, like back in the early 2000s. And I was in a skate competition in Las Vegas, and I missed my final run to watch Eyes Like Diamonds because I was just like captivated. And I swear from that moment on, I chose music. I chose doing this screaming and like being in post-hardcore bands because it just overtook me, I was like, oh wow, I forgot that I had a run to go skate. I forgot about everything. So I just fell in love with that. And I think that Prada is the best band maybe of all time in our genre. And they still make good records. Like, what was it? Outside of the Space EP, I think they just dropped something else too. But like, anytime I hear Prada, I'm just hyped. It doesn't matter if it's old, if it's new. The HTML Rules, dude. It can be like anything off the Zombies EP. Best show ever. I recorded every single song. I was like straight fanboying, like in the front row, like with my phone filming, like trying to take notes almost. Like, how are you guys so good still?
You're such a fantastic band. Yeah.
Dude.
Wait, did you get to like sit down with them and like tell them that they're the reason why you're doing this?
Nah, I definitely have a problem with like not giving people their roses, but I definitely am. I try to treat people just like they're just Joe Schmo,
Yeah.
Otherwise, then I always feel like I'm like, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like I not that I don't want to give them their roses and be like, yo, I love you. Thank you for everything you do. But as much as like, it really makes me feel good when I can just have a conversation with somebody and be like, that's
exactly.
Just treated me like a normal dude. Mm-hmm. And then you walk away from the conversation. You're like, that was so cool. Like, I like that so much better where if I can barely hold it together and I can keep the conversation going, it's almost like I did it.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't get to, I haven't really been, I haven't told any of those people. I don't really have like people in our peer group like that. So our old guitarist Chase, his uncle is Gingerfish in Rob Zombie and used to be the Marilyn Manson drummer.
Oh shit!
And
wow.
He brought us out to one of the dates of the Sons of Evil or whatever. It was the Zombie Manson tour, and like we were in the backstage, and I was like, oh man, if I get to meet Zombie, like I can't keep it together. I'm gonna tell him that I watch horror movies because of you, you know? And like luckily, not luckily, because but we didn't get to meet them. I saw Sherry Moon walk by and I was just I love you. But that was about it. And then I kept it together. So no real like big moments like that, you know?
Okay.
I'm sure it'll come around though, you know?
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. I'm the same way. I mean, like I'm interviewing people. You're like go backstage playing before them, but like when we interview someone I look up to, I'm doing everything in my power to not make it awkward by telling them how much I love them.
Yeah. Funny thing though, like that's cool. I don't know, because I see those interviews all the time with people. Like I love to watch Nardwuar interviews. I don't know if you.
Oh my god, yes, I watch all of his interviews. I love him so much.
And I watch like old like '90s interviews when he was like doing sub pop bands and like. He was performing his own music and like that's how he did it. He was like just got backstage and he was not afraid to be like, yo, dude, this is so cool. You got like and like break down the wall. Like it's okay to be like, yo, you're cool. Like things are good. As long as you're like educated, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
You're gonna be like, oh, I love that album. And he's like, I wasn't even in the
band. Yeah.
That's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Shane,
so I forgot it. This is my question.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for this song?
For this song,
Wormtongue. Yep.
Very much just like free flowing. Keen and I have been writing together for so long that he'll play something and I'll either skip it and we'll move on to the next one, or something will come up like immediately. And that's what happened. He played the first like 15 seconds and I mumbled the beginning of the song. And yelled it into the breakdown. I was like, oh, this is tight. Let's record this. And on the same sure, you know what I'm saying? We're just like, let's do it. We recorded the mic. We went there. We did a demo. I freestyle as much of the song as I can.
Wow.
And I basically like without just kind of like free conscious thought, no lyrics, no ideas, and just kind of run with it. And then we'll listen to it and I'll be like, dang, I really like this one part, or man, none of that is going to work. And that's kind of how this worked. We wrote the hook, the verse, and the breakdowns, the end and the beginning breakdown, and then just went right back into it. Keen wrote all the instrumental. This is a song that Keen sat on. It's hard when you have people who are so talented that they have so much stuff that they don't share it with you, and then when you finally get it, you're like, dude, what the hell? Like,
why didn't we see this earlier?
Right. We've been making music together for 10 years and you tell me you've had this for 4. What the hell? You know, so like this song is written 2018, 2017. And then I got the lyric. I started recording and did the free forming like freestyle lyrics 2019, at very end of 2019. And then not beginning of 2019, because we went into the studio with Josh Bearden from Distinguisher. And we finished, we do all of our recording with him in Las Vegas. And we just, ran through it. And that was one of the easier songs, which a lot of the times I will push off finishing songs until the very end. And we'll be like in the studio and they're like, dude, we don't have a final verse. Oh. All right, let's freestyle. I'll finish it now. Let's go. I like the pressure. So I really think that, I just enjoy freestyling on these songs. Even back to like my first band, we would play a show. I would have one of our girlfriends or brothers, merch dude, whoever it was, film the set. After this show, we go home. I'd watch the set and be like, "Oh, dude, I like those lyrics. Like that was tight."
Wow, yeah.
Nobody was there. There was no. I mean, there's like 30 to 50 people there, but nobody's that's like really gonna hurt my process or like whatever. So that's how I started writing music. And now, I just kind of do the same thing, just off the top, and then go through and change I like the cadence. Okay, let's change. I'll write the lyrics. Oh, I don't like the cadence, but I like the lyrics. Switch that. And that's kind of how all of our music comes. Sometimes Keen will have a whole song written, and then I'll be like, why am I in this band? You don't need me. You don't need me. Why do you do this? But then we'll just go back and forth. I'll record some parts, or we'll change things, and it's really, really collaborative between us. And now the fact that we're a 4-piece, the writing process has changed, and because of COVID, I'm here in Los Angeles by myself, and the rest of the band is in Las Vegas, but every one of them is like in their own careers, doing their own things. So we each like write music on our own, send it to the next person. They add what they have, send it to the next. Okay, perfect. Now we're to the point where everybody has to get together and let's jam these songs. All right, we have to wait till we have 4 or 5 songs like that. And then I'll come out there, we'll quarantine. I'll come out for 2 weeks. We'll record, we'll do whatever we need to do. And that's kind of what we've been doing through 2020 was just demos. And now we have 4 or 5 songs written, recorded, mixed, mastered, and then probably like another 6 that are ready to go to final stages of like me recording and then mix and master.
Okay.
So a lot of music. And then one of my things has been like just forcing music this year because 2020 took away all that. So I wanted to be able to be like in my own space. So my best friend here has a studio in LA. So I'm like, dude, let's go. I've been buying like breakdowns off of artists and different people that I love, like different writers.
Yeah.
And I've just been like, it's like a learning exercise, it's like a forced thing. Like it might not be for Sigil, it might not be for anything, but it's more like, okay, cool. Like I need to write more. We need to be able to we need to drop more music. Like people need music, like this, we're bored. I want to go see a concert. Well, if I can't go see a concert, like what's the next best thing is like a lot of new music. And that's what I want to do to supply for the year is just like a song a month. If I could, I get told by management not to do that, but we'll see who wins that battle because we got a lot of music and I got the password to the distro kid. So
exactly. Who gets there first?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're actually going to bring this up later in the interview, but since you brought it up now, I'm just going to ask about it. You guys have been dropping like 1 song a year since like 2017. Firstly, why? And then, as you mentioned, you have like a lot of songs that are in late stages. So are you dropping them later this year as well and breaking that cycle? Or are you just going to spread them out for the next couple of years?
Be 2040 by the time you get all this music.
Oh my God. I would cry.
I would be so bummed. No, basically, like I told you how I joined the band, there was initial demos with the band. And I came in and we basically washed like 3 out of the 6 demos because I just didn't like them and I didn't want to write to them.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, they didn't really like to hear that. So the other 3 songs, which ended up being Death Proof, Waste, and 6, we had this clear idea of visually how we wanted to tell the story of Sigil. And after you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a music video and on production and on the record and then on PR and everything that goes into getting your stuff heard for a drop, we're like, okay, Death Proof did really well. I don't want to fall short, And that was what I was really worried about doing, was not hitting the mark again. So I wouldn't say it was like an anxiety to drop music, but we dropped. So the reason why it looks like it was 1 a year, because in 2017, we dropped that in December of 2017. So that was like the first thing that the band did. It was like, I joined the band summer of 2017. We recorded, had the demos, the first 3 songs done by the end of 2017. Okay. Dropped Death Proof, really, really well received. I got tons of anxiety about not being able to follow it up. And so we kind of like we didn't have the money to follow up because we're independent, we're all paying bills. We're all doing our own things. Yeah. So like we can't spend $5,000 on a video and publicity and do that stuff like immediately afterwards. So it was kind of like, let's save our money. We recorded the videos ourselves this time, which everybody in the band is like capable of doing something creatively. Jorge is a phenomenal content creator. Keen as well. Wormtongue and Misery's music videos were both done by Keen, and 6 and Waste were both done by Jorge. So they've both done all of our content up to this point. Our first video was done by Chaz Dre, who is one of my favorite directors and one of the best people to work with. He's currently doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles short film that's got it's Casey Jones film, crazy, and we may or may not have music on the soundtrack.
Wow.
Yeah,
huh.
Yes. And
so, sorry, continue.
Yeah. And so basically, we just pushed it off, tried to write music, and we just kind of waited until everything worked out. Okay, the video's good, all the content's right, the rollout's good. Let's drop it now. We didn't really feel the need to like overwhelm people with music at the time because Death Proof did really well. So it was like, okay, let's let that ride. And the standard thing back in the day, with bands is like every year, 2 years, you drop a record, an EP. It wasn't what it is now with like a band. At least because of 2020, bands are starting to do it. But prior to that, it was a couple songs a year, if that, maybe a record.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna make up for lost time. I want to drop a lot more music. We have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of like right now like remixes that we've had, like a bunch of DJs and things that really liked our stuff. It recently contacted us and did like, we have 2 Misery remixes. We have a Wormtongue remix that's coming out. We have a guest feature on some things that's coming out. And it's like, you can make things live a life without dropping more.
Yeah.
You can like hit different markets or talk or, just hit different things that go along with that. But I want to drop music all the time. I love that feeling, like when people are like, yo, the new music is sick. Or if they don't like it, then it's like, okay, well, I got one for you next week.
Exactly. I have another one like this
another
one. Yeah.
Exactly.
And another one. And another one.
Another one. That's gonna be, exactly. I'm trying to snowball it. I'm trying to be the Russ of metal music. That probably wouldn't come out right, but like that dude really does drop so much music. I watched an interview and he talked about how he dropped a song a week. So by the 3rd month, he was making $1 million a month off of the stream.
Jesus Christ.
Everything snowballed. Yeah, the person didn't like the first song, but they might have liked the 3rd one. And then there was 5 songs that followed, so they still listened to him, even if they didn't like them. And it was like that one listener now carries over across 12 songs instead of that one listener who you would have lost because you didn't drop something for 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the method that I think I'm pushing for the next year. We have a brand new song coming very soon, but that's like still got a little bit of life. Wormtongue's got some life in it.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry, I talk so much.
No, it's great.
It's like whenever I do interviews or anything, I realize like sometimes I just tank off the topic and then I look at everybody and I'm like, how do I come back from this?
No, it's I'm really enjoying
as
this.
much as I'm struggling to like come up with a segue into the next question. You've got a lot of cool stories and you keep on managing to break glory, and I'm living for that.
It's so interesting, like how you're doing so much with your platform, because you said that like if you're getting back into music, you're actually going to go all the way, and you are, and it's so crazy to see like that much determination and reach. Even just like, I don't know. You're doing great. You're doing so good.
We just all got to do what we can. And I feel like I can do a lot. And when I don't do enough, I feel like I let people around me down. And I care about everybody in my band. I care about people in my side project. I care about the people who I involve myself with. I care, and so I want to make sure that like, if I'm a part of the project, that whatever I'm doing, I'm going to over deliver. And if I fall short, I'll take the blame, or like if the things don't come up right, I'll figure out what I can do better to do. So like, I think one thing I noticed Sigil could do better is release more music. And that's why I want to make sure through the year if we have 12 records done, mixed and mastered, then there's no reason why I need to wait a year to drop a record,
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So where was your headspace at while you were writing this song?
I mean, I was pissed because I was just like going through records and I didn't like anything that was going on. We had been there for probably like a couple hours and trying to force like some writing process. And sometimes I definitely have like this other side where I get really down and negative, and I have a hard time like coming out of that pocket where like as soon as I hit this moment where like I'm like the shrouded darkness of hate falls over my eyes. I like can't snap out of it.
Mhm.
And that was really where I was. And then it was like, I was feeling this way, yet having a breakthrough. And I was like, why am I still pissed
Mhm.
and like angry and feeling like this sense of dread or like this feeling that I'm feeling? But I'm like doing what I want, what I love to do. I'm here making music.
Yeah.
I'm with my best friend. I'm breaking walls down because we wrote Wormtongue. You know, we're writing Wormtongue. But it was more like, okay, I need to reflect on this. Like in the first lyrics I came up with, all I've known is all I've ever felt, and that's this rage. It was like, wow, okay, I guess I've felt this for a while. I need to address it. And the best way that I find to address my problems is to write about it, whether it goes into a notebook or it goes into a song and I can be creative with it and it becomes like a form of therapy, or if it's just like write it down. Damn, that is not going to work for a song. Crumple, you know, it sits in my notes and I reflect on it maybe at another time or something. But yeah, I was just pissed. I was not happy. So that's kind of why it took that tone, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm working really hard on not doing that all the time. But It worked out. In that headspace, I created a song that I like, which is one of my favorites to date. And I don't know why it is. Maybe because it was like a breakthrough for me, to where it was like afterwards I was able to be like, damn, we still wrote that. I'm chill. Okay. I'm not that mad.
You did that. Exactly. So while listening to the single, what band or artist influences pop out the most to you, if any? There don't have to be any.
I don't know. That's tough. I don't know, because I always get this question like, who do we sound like? What's our points of reference? And it's not that I don't have one, because like I feel like I'm an accumulation of everything that I ever listened to, you know, like, which is really cheesy, but like, I'm really inspired by like the first band I ever fell in love with was Limp Bizkit. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother used to play baseball and he would walk out when he would play baseball to break stuff.
Banger.
Like, you walk out from the pitching, you know, from the bullpen to the mound, closer, you know, I'm about to break. I was like, I love this. Yeah. And then when he showed me like, my sister listened to Blink 182, and then pretty much after that, I pretty much only listened to rap music until I was into skateboarding. And then through skateboarding, like the people you hang out with, like you go to the skate park and you got baggy pants on. Is, you know, like at that point in 2006, people were like, what are you doing? You know? So I got put on like Metallica and Slipknot and Mudvayne and the band Head P. You remember those? I mean, who, we have a little remix with that, with one of the members of Head P coming out soon. So that's really cool. Like full circle moment. I used to
that's a full circle moment.
You know, and that's one of those things that, you know, when you're talking about that earlier, like I haven't told the dude that I like really listened to the band when I was in 6th grade, you know, but like, that's something that really influenced me. It was like just the punk rock rap crossover, you know, like really, really stuck with me. But when it comes to like Sigil, the initial vibe when I was brought into the band, they were like, imagine that we are constantly writing the soundtrack for Queen of the Damned, you know?
Okay.
Oh.
And that was like the first idea that the way that when they gave me the initial pitch was that it's like, you know, like that. So I went and I immediately listened to like Jonathan Davis, who wrote all of the music for all of the Queen of the Damned. He was like the executive producer on that. And then I went to listen to like Chester a lot more. Chester is probably like my biggest vocal influence outside of like just in the sense of what I can see being done with metal music. You know, it's like we're not just stuck in this like raw phase, you know, like there's a really good way for us to be like to drive melody and do things that, you know, not a lot of people can do. And I just like fell in love with that. Same with the Jonathan Davis. So I feel like maybe those two might be something that I like. I always think about them when I'm writing music. And it's subconscious as well as like, they're the biggest dudes in our genre to maybe like ever do it. So it always kind of sits in my wheelhouse to be like, I gotta be more like Chester. I got to be more like, I want to be that good. I want to make people remember the lyrics the way I think of Linkin Park, or like make somebody like Jay-Z who could listen to Linkin Park, who has clearly no interest in metal music, but can make himself, he's like, oh, I can see how this works. And I feel like that's what I want Sigil to be. Some of the, even like the influences, I would say, be like Billie Eilish, like the way that like the tempo and the way that she switches in between her delivery, and like the production on it. That's something like on the second verse of Wormtongue. I felt like the way Keen like works his vocals, and he like detunes it and then layers it and then sings on it over the top of like this detuned version of it. It had me feeling like that. And I would say that was probably the closest. But in our genre, I don't know. Not that I don't listen to, like, I don't want to say I don't listen to our genre, because like Code Orange is my favorite band right now, and like Vane is sick. But I just don't try to listen to bands and then go make Sigil.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because like then they're already here. Like I don't need to go listen to Cane Hill and be like, I want to be the next Cane Hill. Like they're dope, but if I do that, then I'm only taking away from whatever Sigil's gonna make.
Exactly.
That's fair.
So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this new single for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Ooh. Three words. Man, you couldn't hit me with this one beforehand, so I was prepared. Don't look like I was.
No, it's off the top of your head.
Ridiculous. 3 words to just this one single.
Just one single, yeah.
Aggressively. Wait. Damn. Is it gotta be a run-on sentence? Compound? Like, come on.
It's just it could be 3 random words, or it could be a sentence. It could be whatever you want.
Okay. We're gonna go 3 different words, because otherwise I'm gonna mess up my sentence. So aggressive.
Okay. You got one.
Yep. That. Boom. There it is. Aggressive, ominous, because that's like always the term. I always try to use that when describing Sigil's music because it's easy. Yeah. Aggressive, ominous, and reminiscent. Like there's something about this that feels nostalgic. Like I've been told this a couple times, that like when they hear it, it feels like music that they've heard without being music that they've heard. It feels like they can identify it, but they're not like, oh, this sounds like this band, or it's like, and I don't know if it's the in the production, like if it's my guy's choice in tone and the drum choices, like I don't know if that's what it is. If it's the mix, it could be the magic of all of it. But I've heard those things. I would say, like nostalgic, maybe not reminiscent, but like aggressive, nostalgic, ominous.
All right.
Okay.
Ominous and nostalgic. I don't know how those 2 things work together, but that's Sigil.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So kind of in the same vein for the last question, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this song to invoke in your listeners? You did say you were full of rage when writing it, so do you want it to reflect onto your listeners, or? I
mean, I never want to like make people feel like angry, I guess, because that doesn't like stiff. But break stuff, for example, like as soon as I hear that, I'm ready to like literally, yes, let's go. It just gets me hyped, So I'd love if something that I carried in as like therapeutic aggression could make somebody like excited and maybe motivated. That would be ideal. Like that would, if they heard Wormtongue and were like, yo, I'm gonna go make a record right now. This is, or oh, I'm gonna go run to this, or whatever it might be, like if it could give somebody like a little bit of a pep in their step, then that's what I would like to do. I feel like that maybe that's going to be a more of a something that I think of when I'm creating music in the future, because that's something I don't think when I'm making music, I don't think of what the initial, like what I want them to receive from it. I just think about like I want to make something for myself And if they appreciate it, then great. If they don't, then whatever. We'll write more music. But that's something I'm going to be conscious of. I'm glad you guys brought that up because that's something I don't think about. So I should have to do that.
All right. So where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
Oh man, Sigil's moving really fast right now. Behind the scenes, we do for 3 years we've played with as many big bands as most bands get to play in a 10-year span, so like the show aspect, obviously I'd love within 5 years to be back on the road doing that, like the standard process of what we've been doing. I don't want to go back to like a really like a full touring route. Like I feel like bands have been stuck on this wheel forever to like make money, like go on tour, and then like we get this conversation from management, labels, anybody who's talked to us is like, we need more road hours. We want to see that you guys are like willing to get on the road and like do that. So we played a tour. We got a second tour book that got canceled because of COVID. Now I'm thinking they don't want that. They were just using that as an excuse to like, oh, that's the moment that then we'll finally look at you, where now you see like 72 major labels gave out $1 million record deals to TikTok influencers. $72 million record contracts for TikTok people. So you know what I'm saying? Like they don't care about touring. They want immediate interaction. They want consistent fans that are willing to do that. Where you could look at somebody like Ghostmane, for example, who's like a subgenre of what we do. I'd still say he's metal. He's still like huge, independent. I mean, he might have a deal now. I don't know if he has a deal now. I haven't paid any attention, but I know he did all that by himself, and that was through genuine fan interaction, road hours, doing that. So for Sigil, I'd love for the next 5 years to just be spent like cultivating to our audience and to our, like, we've always called them the Legion, like a legion of people that really just like ride for us. Join the Legion. That's always been like our moniker. It's something that we put on everything. And that's what it was, like just really wanting to put together a group of people that believe in what we do and want to continue to consume it, we're not just a band, at the end of the day, all of us are brands. We're all trying to like make our space, and like for you guys to want to listen to Sigil, not just do you have to like the music, you might have to like me, you might have to like some of the band members, it's like, it's not just a one-stop shop anymore where it was like, oh, I love that song on the radio and it's perfect and I'm gonna love them, like that doesn't work. We don't separate the artist from the art, that's like, so especially these days, I think it's just going to be about like catering to the fans. So I think for me, 5 years, I'd love to just really break down like what our fans want and grow with what they want. And then how can we reach more people while still keeping true to the people that enjoy what we do?
Okay.
5 years, more records, more just, I want to interact. I want to figure it out. We've been figuring out how to do like outside of just the live streams, because obviously we're all in that, but like what good is a live stream if you're catering to 70 people or 50, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do we get seen on a new scale? Is it going to be digital festivals? Because that was our whole plan for 2020 and 2021 was a festival circuit. And now we don't have, now we're where there is no festivals. There is none of that. So how do I get seen by new people? Do I have to go pay thousands of dollars to Facebook to break their algorithm down so I can like have a solid marketing plan? Like that sucks, you know? But I would have like the band might have lost more than that doing touring or whatever it might be, because as anybody knows, like unless you're breaking mics, unless you're in the top couple percentile, you're not breaking bread on tour. We were blessed to go and play a full East Coast tour, but we're from the West Coast. We couldn't drive across. We didn't have a van. So we flew out, we rented a van, we rented equipment as well as shared equipment, and then did this tour, staying in like, the Misery video, we actually shot in an Airbnb of an abandoned church that we rented for a tour. We found an Airbnb in the middle of the touring route and stayed there, and then just drove like 60 miles and would come back, and then drive 120 miles up New York and then come back. Wow. And that's how we made without like spending a ton of money while still being kind of comfortable, because we're all in our late 20s, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to go sleep in the van anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and we did that a couple nights, and afterwards I was like, I love you guys, but if I have to sleep next to you like this not
Literally on top of you one more time, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone smells like Cheetos or Chipotle.
And I'm on the floor by fucking 2:00 in the morning. And
exactly. And I was taking the floor because I'm frail. I'm the skinny one in the group, so like I fit on the floor. Give me the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're I forgot what your question was, but yeah.
It was 5-year plan. You got there though.
Yeah,
you answered
did
it.
You were there. You know what I'm saying?
He answered it first, and then it just kind of went into.
And I'm not even smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? I texted the band. I was like, "Yo, so would it be bad if I was smoking on this podcast?" And they were like, "Nah, go for it." And then the guy's like, "Nah, don't do it. You already have a problem with rambling." Like,
yeah, it's always like hit or miss interviewing the people that are under some sort of influence.
Yeah. Next interview we get, we'll do a comparison. And we'll
I'll mentally prepare myself for that one.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, we'll have you guys come out to Los Angeles, and we'll do it like that. We'll get you guys in a legal state, so that way it's not weird.
Yeah. That's fair. So for the last couple questions, we're actually going to switch away from music, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, please. That's easier.
So we're going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
Okay.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Boom.
So as a vegan,
okay,
I would pick. Oh man, that's tough. All right, so I had these vegan wings in Philadelphia while we were on tour. Those I still have the bar pinned in my map for the day that I come back to Philadelphia. Keen went to Philadelphia just to eat these chicken wings. Like, he made a vacation to Philadelphia and ate there like 3 times on the vacation. So this bar in Philly, super random. Those chicken wings would definitely be on the plate. And then I'd probably, as a drink, straight up Coca-Cola. That would be the one. Like just ice cold glass Coke. Because I'm indulging. I'm gonna die.
Exactly.
I would say meat, but like then I would be feeling so terrible as I'm dying, and it would be like, damn, you died and you just ate something that died. Like, this is what you get. This is karma for you.
So you said those are vegan chicken wings?
Vegan chicken wings, yeah. They're actually called, I don't know if it's called Satan. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I know what
Satan.
you're talking about.
I always like to say Satan, like when I'm ordering it. It makes my mom second guess what I'm asking for.
What was the name of the place? Because my girlfriend lives out like 30 minutes out of Philly, so I'm out there all the time.
All right, I'm gonna get it for you. I'm gonna text the band right now and ask what it was.
All right. Well, while we wait for that, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Great question. Great question. Fictional world for a week. Obviously, I want it to be like exciting. I would say like the Shire.
Ooh.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like so peaceful out in the thing with just hobbits. Like, I'll be the biggest dude out there, so I wouldn't have like this weird complex about like Gandalf or any of these other people. I wouldn't be out with the orgs, you know what I'm saying? So like I'd be fine there. Maybe somewhere like Wakanda would be sick.
Yeah.
Like somewhere where like technology and life and everything like lives super cohesively. Those two would probably be my fictional space. I should say something Star Wars related because that's like my life, but I feel like everywhere in Star Wars is harsh environments, and I'm not gonna live on Tatooine. Like, I lived there in Las Vegas for 25 years. That's Tatooine. So I would say the Shire or Wakanda.
Okay.
Yes.
Great choices.
Thank you.
So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has actually said it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
So I'm colorblind.
Okay.
Fun fact. So my hue of colors is terrible.
Oh.
But I've always loved either like yellow. People always tell me I look like a comic book character because I bet you we do this interview again and I'll have, if not this beanie, another version of this beanie that I own. Or like Volt Red, like just like very deep red, because every sports team that I loved growing up was like red, so I just automatically, same with like the Limp Bizkit thing, I always wore a red hat. Like it was just like my thing growing up. So yeah, yellow and red. That's it. As you can see, I think my nails are still yellow a little bit of red. Yeah, not much left on those ones, but yeah, yellow and red. Those are my two favorite colors for sure.
All right.
Taste. All right.
Good questions. Good questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as Corey said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah. So Sigil, Wormtongue, out now everywhere you stream, Spotify, all that. We have the lyric video coming this week. That'll be coming out everywhere. Spotify, just everywhere you watch a lyric video. I have another band called Imperial Tide. Imperial Tide just dropped a brand new single called Off the Leash. Imperial Tide is like my punk rock band, so that's like a little bit different mode for what I do with Sigil. And I just been loving it, dropping music.
Hell yeah.
Follow the bands. Follow me at Landon Hill. We're dropping music every week of the year. It's coming.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you for now. This has been Landon from Sigil, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.